I don't insult, I speak to issues. And those aren't my words. They are the words of the man sitting across from me. And today, I'm going to test them. Because Ghanaian politics has become a place where a strong argument can quickly become a personal attack. Disagreement can become disrespect. And political communication can become entertainment. My guest is one of the NDC's most outspoken voices, and he's not exactly known for whispering when he has something to say. Yet, he insists there is a difference between speaking hard truth and insulting people. So we are going to find that line. We are also going beyond the sound bites. His new responsibility in the NDC, President Mohammed's performance, the party's internal dynamics, the 2028 conversations, and what kind of political culture Ghana should be building. This is Raw with Roslyn. Now, today we are here at Community Spaces. And my guest for today is the one and only Mustapha Gbande. Hello, Mustapha.
Hi, Roslyn.
How are you?
I'm good, you can see.
Now, Mustapha is actually the deputy head of operations uh, at the presidency, and he is also deputy general secretary for the NDC, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, Mustapha, you know I have a problem with you, right?
Maybe if you tell me.
I should.
Yes, me and you, our fights don't go far.
Hmm.
So I'll be willing to hear what the
Okay.
issues are.
All right. So my problem with you is the fact that you came to power and I haven't heard from you in a long time.
I was busy doing your brother's work. The president have asked me to work,
Okay.
and I've been in the
Mm.
bushes and all over the place. Some call it trouble, but others call it work. And so I'll just apologize to you. Love language does not go to court. And so we'll settle it.
Anyway, Mustafa, let me find out for you. Now you say you don't insult, okay? And so today I'm going to put you to test with regards to it. You said you speak to only issues, but no insults whatsoever. So if there are no insults whatsoever, Mustafa, tell me one thing that you have said about your opponent that you wish to take back.
Well, I think that my coming into light of politics, I was raised by a very poor family, and I've always said that. In fact, probably my home would have been the headquarters of poverty. I've always acknowledged that fact. But one thing that my father didn't take away from us, the courage to stand up to responsibility.
Right.
Two, uh, the courage to stand up to truth. And he's taught us that there is only one man that we can be afraid of, and that is God. He also taught us to not to fight women. A man cannot be seen fighting a woman.
So you don't fight women?
No, I don't. But beyond that, I don't see why I shouldn't be able to tell any human being what is on my mind. It doesn't matter your status. It doesn't matter who you are. But you must do so within the upbringing of the Ghanaian culture. A well brought up Ghanaian child does not know how to insult. And for us, Northerners, it's even more worse because we uphold age, and that you must, even as you want to speak the truth to someone, you must do so with wisdom. And again, I have transitioned from tradition to Islam and to Christianity. My kids, all my kids bear Muslim and Christian names. You know, my Christian name is Daniel, by the way.
Really?
Yes.
Never knew.
Yes.
Nah?
So,
Why Daniel?
yeah, that was the name that the Holy Spirit chose for me. You know, Daniel is a man who was tested. His faith was really tested, like Job. But Daniel, his own was when God came face to face with him in terms of standing by him, such that lions would have to come to his level. And so my Christian values is such that it is not a problem what you do to me and what you want to do to me. I've always believed that beyond what wrong one person may wish to do to me, there's a God that stands by me. And that God, if it can give up his son, Jesus Christ, for my sake, then that God will salvage me from anything that is not meant for me. So that is why I believe in the name Daniel. But beyond that, if you are a Christian or a Muslim, even if you serve the shrines, even in that realm, there are still principles there. You must uphold certain principles key to your relationship with human beings, and that society is not a free place. Society is a regimented place where principles prevail, and that if you are speaking to your parents, you don't say it anyhow. If we need something from our parents, we don't say it anyhow. And so, for me, I believe that I don't need to insult you to say the truth to you, but I'll also not lick your wounds.
You're not like the wound.
No, I don't lick anybody's wounds.
So you're saying you're fearless.
I don't think I'm fearless, but I'm just that person who believes that hypocrisy is expensive.
Okay, so what's the difference between political attack and political insult?
Well, so for example, um, even if I want to say something that is insulting to you, I should show you respect. Okay, I would still say please. But if your lifestyle is one that I can call you a particular name, I'll still call you that name, but in a very nice way. Now, Baumia, for example, called His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who was a former president, his senior brother, incompetent.
Let me hold you
Yeah.
on with that. You said Baumia.
Yeah.
However, he's also a former
His
president.
Excellency Dr. Mahmoud
Thank
Baumia.
you.
Yeah. No, he is my big brother.
Okay.
And so he called him incompetent. Was that an insult? No, it wasn't an insult. That was an expression of what he thought President Mahama was. It's allowed within politics. So, for example, recently somebody insulted His Excellency Baumia, insulted his wife, and all of that. We got him arrested because I know certain people's argument is that, oh, NDC people, when they were in opposition, they used to insult. It's not a justification for continuation of that same behavior. It has to stop at a certain point. Nobody criticizes Nanado than I do, and I'm still criticizing him, and I still believe that he is very corrupt. His government has been very corrupt. That is what I feel of his
What is
government.
the difference between corrupt and incompetent? You are saying somebody's
No,
corrupt,
so,
but you think there's something wrong with
yeah, no,
somebody saying
I
somebody
just
is
said that that
incompetent.
wasn't the problem.
Okay.
But for anybody to come and say, for example, uh, that President Mahama has killed somebody, that I hear that President Mahama, excuse my language, and I can use some of the things that were said about President Mahama. And then when we do that, what are we teaching the younger generation? What are they learning from us? These days, you go home and your kid says, I saw daddy on TV. What were you saying? And how does that impact our society? And that, how can I look at my colleague from the other side and use unprintable words? Equalization of foolishness doesn't depict wisdom. It just shows a continuation of, a foolish society. I believe that power and politics are mediums for social growth and impact. Anybody that uses power to destroy another is not wise. It's not wise. So the advantage that I have over somebody should be one that pulls others along. You don't use power to pull others backwards, because in the end, you will get there and realize that you are there alone. What's the point if you have all the cars and you have all the houses and you have all the treasures, but realize that nobody else can walk to the table to have a conversation with you where the person have developed to your level?
So, what's the harshest thing you've ever said about an opponent that you still stand by?
I've said many things, and if my attention has been drawn to any, I'll take responsibility of same. I've always believed that President Akufo-Addo would have done better for the people of Ghana, because at the time, people felt that the younger generation had failed 2016. So they needed some, more matured, some elderly group of people who we believe that were in their retirement age, they wouldn't steal money. Nanado will tell you that I am old, I wouldn't steal your money. If you look at the level at which the younger generation that President Akufo-Addo appointed misused state resources and the power they had, went fully after people's businesses. Some have died, and they tell the people of Ghana, you can go to hell. And all of that have happened. I spoke against it. I still stand by it. I feel that we will do better. I will use the same standard to measure my own government. It doesn't matter what it takes. If I have to say it, I'll say it, but I'll say it nicely.
Do you condemn people who actually insult?
I don't judge
as
people.
part of your party
I don't
members?
judge people, but I express my opinion.
But I've never seen you condemn anybody in your party who has
recently-
used insulting words,
So
even on
recently,
social media.
recently when I spoke against that, when Wontumi insulted President Mahama, I assured him that when we came to Ghana, we would take him on. Okay.
Who want to be in opposition?
It doesn't matter.
I'm talking about your
The
party.
recent individual who insulted President Baumia, he has been taken to court. Criminality and stupidity have no political colors. I'm here. I'm an officer of the party, an officer of government. If I go and use the opportunity Mr. President have given me in a way that does not reflect the image, the objects of the government, I don't expect anybody to protect me.
Some people say Kelvin Taylor has spoken against, the ex-government.
Yeah.
And he's speaking on behalf of the NDC government. Now,
Yeah.
back then, he used to speak and blast, the NDC government. And NDC government was not happy. But ever since he started speaking on behalf of the NDC government and against Nanado's government, it seems the NDC has kept quiet. And for you, Mustapha Gbande, one who condemns that act, you haven't said anything about it.
Calvin Taylor is not NDC. He does not speak for and on behalf of the NDC. Calvin Taylor is a freelancer who is not in the country. Number two, even me, he attacked me before. You remember a demonstration was at the Jubilee House. The people were there in the night. I had even traveled and came back, and then I had my officers calling me. So I went there and said, listen, because you are here, it could allow intruders to do whatever it is. So at a certain time, you would have to disperse. You cannot do a vigil in a security square. He attacked me. He attacked many people. He attacked President Mahama and other people. Kelvin Taylor came from the MPP. That is their stock. Okay? If Kelvin Taylor were my friend, there were certain things he would do, and I'll tell him that it's not right. We are Ghanaian people.
Must the person be your friend before?
I don't have access to him.
You have social media.
No, I won't use social media to speak to anybody. He's not my party. I don't have responsibility of him. And you see, Rose, God did not create a free world. Everybody will have a responsibility to what we do. I have been given a responsibility by my bosses to take care of this party. We would continue to encourage our young people not to go overboard, not to use insults as a tool for politicking, that continuously, constructively speak to issues. Raise your voice so high that voice, the echo within that voice should be intellectuality and not insults.
Fantastic.
But insults doesn't build anything. If you I have people who come on Facebook, right, and they call me Eteni Kwasia, Eteni Jimini, you know. But if you say I'm a not because of that, I'm a fool. My brother is the one leading your political party. So go to Ashanti region, right? Most of the people who serve the Ashantis are not there. So if you say that Eteni Kwasia, Ntin Kwasia for Nesomo, you know, so certain statements that we make, I want to encourage my colleagues in the MPP not to rather look at a bad way of winning an election.
Most of us surprising your colleagues in NPP, not your colleagues in all political parties.
You know, we are the two major political
Yeah, so
parties
you could
that,
have said your colleagues in
no,
both
we are the
political
two
parties
political
because I
parties.
think at this point both
Yeah.
political parties air.
Look, there's a lady, I think CPP or PNC or whatever, it's a lady, a northern lady. He's always insulting President Mahama. I once reached out to him, her, and said, listen, I don't think that what you are doing represents who Baumia is. Baumia is a gentleman who will not use an insult on anybody, even though I don't agree with his political style. And I've always said that he allowing Adjua Safo, for example, to attack Kennedy Japan was a red line.
How did he allow that?
Because you knew that Adjua Safo is Kennedy Japan's ex-husband. But they have children. I call it marriage. And so when you allow that, even if Adjua was naive, you should say, no, 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 you can't do that. Because when the man is your opponent and his ex-wife is being used as an instrument against him, it's a red line in politics.
Mustapha, you and I don't know whether he called her to his
Look,
office
look,
to tell her she was wrong.
when we were
Because
campaigning,
you are saying you don't go on social
when
media,
we were
media
campaigning,
to
when we
tell
were
people,
campaigning,
right? Yeah.
President Mahama is always on social media and listening to what we say. You know, you hear your phone ring and you pick, say, Mr. President, I want to talk to you. What you said here was not right. There was one time that I made a statement.
So maybe he did. He called her.
You know, but let
You were
that
not
show.
there.
Let that show.
How?
Because you see, today as you speak, you know, when you put such level of me, I'm a man. If you use my wife against me, it's a red line. You don't do that in politics. We must have the safeguards in politics. There are certain lines that you don't cross. For example, you don't draw in somebody's private marriage, somebody's children in the political environment. I wouldn't do that to
I
anybody
don't
in the
think
MPP.
you're rushing to a conclusion just because you saw her do it. You and I, like you said, you have said it earlier, and I'm bringing you
Look,
back to your
I
words.
didn't just
You
end
said
there.
you said that
Yeah.
you, as Mustapha Gbande, when you have to chastise people for using wrong
Not
language,
chastising.
even speaking to them or
Yeah.
advising them because they use wrong language or insulting language on social media, you don't do it on social media. You call them, you
Yes.
speak to them.
I'm saying that
And like I
Adjua
said,
Safo's own, I've called senior MPP members and said, listen, if Baumia proceeds to engineer the suspension of Kennedy, that is no longer politics, that is family war. Nobody should do it. The leadership within the MPP, out of wisdom, should know that you don't cross these lines. Baumia is spiritually wrong. Morally, he's wrong to have been the headmaster who sat down for this to happen. You see, so we must speak against this thing. And I'm saying that the leadership of my party, look, my general secretary, have had to, you will be summoned to FEC. The national chairman, one time I spoke on radio. You remember when I said Catalas's MPP said they will beat people at polling station, the Catalas comment. As soon as I finished, the first person that called me was my national chairman. He says, no, 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 no. You have to go and retract. That is leadership. Leadership is also discipline. Any leadership that does not embody discipline is a collapsed one on arrival.
So are you saying that leadership should actually punish its communicators if they use insulting language?
Do not seek to exploit these nonsense behaviors. Because if your political party dominate with insults, then when wisdom and in a sense is speaking, nobody hears it. Because wisdom and knowledge are not loud, but they have stamina. When you use insults to dominate your conversation, it doesn't help anybody. And our government is saying that we need to sanitize the environment. When you go and make claims that somebody is a murderer, somebody have done this, somebody have done that, you should be willing to stand responsibility of it. I've heard people, human rights activists saying that, oh, under this government, we have arrested more TikTokers than.
So there's no democracy.
We are yet to arrest more.
You're going to arrest more?
Yes, if you go overboard, you'll be arrested. No human rights allow foolishness. No human right environment should you speak beyond your limit, beyond your boundaries. And so I disagree vehemently with the people who feel we are not running a country where we are rated on the basis of the number of people who are arrested or the number of people who are not arrested. President Mahama has a singular responsibility to ensure an orderly society, a disciplined society. And Rose, let me tell you, I've had people trying to amend the constitution, people speaking about laws. Our laws are not a problem. The Ghanaian environment is very indisciplined. Public sector, same. Political environment, same. It's cutting across. And I've heard my Archbishop speak about it. For you to be given state money and to take a discretion that that money must be used on yourself other than its purpose is more dangerous than being a terrorist. Do you know the number of students, the number of youth, the number of Ghanaian people who get deprived if one government policy fails? And I have advocated that it's high time even the courts and the police take critical interest in conduct crimes, issues of indiscipline. We should get to the point where if you were a politician, the appetite to dip your hand to take a decision to divert state resources for personal benefit should come with a certain feeling of apprehension that if you are caught, what you go through will not be nice. We should not allow ourselves to form clique society where individuals, depending upon which party you are, you help others to steal. And then when the others come, they protect you without at the expense of the Ghanaian people. Is what we should focus on.
What punishment should be given to these TikTokers who have insulted the president?
It's not about president. You see, the problem is that...
But they are the ones being arrested.
The problem is that I've just said that somebody insulted Baumia, President, His Excellency Baumia.
Yeah.
And when the police took that person on, because the MPP have developed an appetite of exploiting this bad behavior, they went to convince Baumia to write a statement and said that he's not standing by that. We don't need Baumia, President Baumia, to decide on what is wrong or what is right.
You just prophesied, President Baumia. That's
no, I'm in. He could become a president, but he's been used beyond repairs. We all know that.
Who used him?
Nanado's brothers. They used him beyond repairs.
Okay, yes. I don't want to go there.
So we can go there another time.
Another time.
But when we did that, he came up to say that, oh, he is deassociating himself. Collectively, we should be championing a disciplined society. So when one party is saying that we are becoming parents, let's sanitize our system, and you sit home and you are exploiting that, what kind of leader are you? Do you want to raise your children to be insulting adults? Do you want to take your child to the university to finish when he's being mentored as a young politician? His mentee experience should be as a result of insulting statements, using statements that cannot be used in the house. So what kind of... Are you proud of that? Will you be proud of your child?
What happens after the arrest, Mustapha?
They should be prosecuted. And if Mustapha goes and make a reckless statement, I expect the police to arrest me.
All right, Mustapha, so I'll ask you first, what's your example of a reckless statement?
It's not palatable to be rehearsing what have been said before, but I'm just saying that we in the NDC are very conscious. You see, the Sami Gyamfi group who emerged, they've moved a lot of young people into the revolution of change. That change was not endangered through insult, was not instigated through insult. We mobilized young university graduates who believed in ideas and issues. One, people stated that officials within the Jubilee House were involved in illegal money. Was it true or not? Their own minister did a report indicting individuals within the Jubilee House. All right? Two, we've stated that they've collapsed people's businesses. Did they collapse businesses? Didn't they collapse banks? Did we not see a document that suggests that when they come into power, they were going to collapse certain individuals and their businesses just to ensure that certain group of people are empowered? Is it true or not? It happened. We said that there was no accountability in President Akufo-Addo's government. Is it true or not? When they told you that they were constructing roads They were building schools, they were building dams, they were building factories, and took money, loans for it. Did they build the schools? Did they construct the roads? They did not. They chopped the money.
But they said they constructed more roads than any
Where
other
did they
government
construct
has.
the roads? And so that's the problem. When the police and the investigative bodies now call these people, come and show us where you have constructed the road, you took money for this. Where did you put the money? They term that as democracy under attack.
All right.
And you think that makes sense?
So I just want to ask you this question. Would you support a formal code of conduct that could, actually sanction politicians, especially senior politicians, who use abusive political communicators?
The formal code of conduct is a duplication of effort. All of us, we have parents. That should be enough of a benchmark that what I'm going to say, my children are watching TV, our children are on social media. What will they think of me? What I'm going to say? Would I be happy that tomorrow I will see that person who I'm talking about and expect that there should be a relationship? I am a relationship person. I'm not a political animal. I'm a relationship oriented person. So, in everything that I do, relationship matters to me than anything. I wouldn't say what bends the bridges, right? So, that is the benchmark. That because all of us were raised under a certain culture, no culture in this country promotes insult. So, where did you learn that from? If really you want to be seen, and in our school days, people who joined political parties and were doing student politics were seen as the smart, brilliant ones. How did we come by adopting, excuse my language, foolishness as within our political space where we are not speaking to issues, we don't debate issues, we make the loud noise by using insulting words. It's dismissive. We should not promote it. Political parties should become the safeguards.
Okay.
Where we rein in our members who go overboard. But our brother says that, oh, when NDC was in opposition, some individuals among them were insulting. So as for us, we'll be insulting. Mahama Oyojwan, Mahama Oyojwan. How does that demonstrate that you were actually brought up properly? How does that show that saying Mahama Oyojwan makes your political party attractive? It only shows that it's a society of indisciplined people. And if you did that and you are from the NDC, we will put you to.
You said it in opposition that, when you come to power, you make sure that Shemawun to me is arrested and all. And everybody is saying that as of now, Mustapha
Yeah.
Gbande, that Shemawun to me is in jail because of the insults that he did with regards to President Mahama.
Look, did the insults hold Chamahun to me to go and do mine? Look, when they were doing transition, we actually arrested Wuntumi's trucks carrying explosive buried in sand. All these things we have. Some of the things we have over Wuntumi, if you want to talk about it, he will rot in jail. Did the
Repeat what you just said. You arrested a car,
trucks of Wuntumi's quarry carrying explosives buried in sand?
Really?
This was at the time that we were still crying over the Apiate explosion. All right. Number two, how did Wuntumi, through the insults, migrate him to go to Eisenbank, take a loan that he's going to farm, and chop the money? We haven't finished that one. Cocoa Board. When the MPP chairman in Ashanti region organized demonstrations, counting the number of contracts Wuntumi took and took money for without executing, was that President insults against President Mahama? So I am very loud, okay? I have had to promise my godfathers. My godfathers are not politicians. I don't have any politician as my godfather. I've had to go and promise them that coming into politics, I will come clean. I'm not saying I'm very perfect, but there will not be any day that my name will be called in a scandal, that I have insubordinated their training, what privileges they gave me to go and have appetite for buying cars and houses, so therefore I'll steal state funds. I won't do it. They are my benchmarks. So even if there's a change of government and you arrest me, some of them have been threatening that, oh, when there's a change of government, they will arrest me. Why? The jail is made for human beings, but there's a judge that will show and will prove my guilt. You see, so to me just was reckless in politics.
So
Where
it's not just the language.
that is reckless. When you take state money
Okay.
that you are going to do A, B, C, D, and you don't do it, and without remembering that there's a law that will hold you accountable, the English description of it is recklessness. Okay? You go into mining. President Akufo-Addo put up a law to allow you to go and mine in the forest reserve. You take a concession, and then you refuse to adhere to the laws. And when the law is dealing with you, you have a group of people who are even lawyers, who are educated, and who are saying, to me, he's a political, yeah, he's a politician. He's a politician in jail. So you can give him any name at all, but he's in jail for his crime.
Okay.
All
So
right?
for you, Wontumi is guilty.
I am even praying for compounding of jail terms, because every single crime he has committed, the court must look into it. If he is guilty, they should compound the number of years he's supposed to be in jail. If that singular act will stop any other politician, be it NDC or MPP, from behaving like Wontumi, I think we'll have a good
Do you
society.
have a personal vendetta against Wontumi?
I have personal vendetta against young people who are growing and decide that we take this country for granted. If you are NDC or you are MPP, you are just like Wontumi.
Wow.
We must get to a point where this country becomes a priority to all of us.
No mercy?
You've seen mercy. God didn't create a free society. God is a God of mercy. He's also a God of justice. And in the interest of justice, on behalf of people who are less privileged, the silent majority, we have a president who is so meek and who is so magnanimous. You've seen President Mahama and his traits. Those traits transform some of us to become such that even if you want to go and misbehave, you are careful how you have to go and stand in front of the president with his demeanor to explain yourself and your stupidity. You wouldn't do it. Okay, so these individuals are individuals we should all learn from. You've heard many people, including those in opposition, say, President Mahama is a nice human being. And I know that he doesn't even have what it takes to kill a fly. It does not mean that you take him for granted. He is such an intelligent man who understands social difficulties and that he gives people an opportunity. It doesn't mean you should take him for granted. So if President Mahama has given you an appointment and for you, your vision and your mission is to steal, when you are arrested, Mustapha won't go there.
Will you support an arrest of the NDC if the MPP comes to power?
Rose, our party is not a conduit for commission of crimes. The party NDC is a party rooted in principles and values. We are not a perfect political party, but we are a party that will uphold those values which have been transferred onto us by those who have died behind us, and will not insubordinate same. So President Mahama is holding everybody's belt in this government. He wouldn't allow what has happened in 2016 to occur again, and we support him to do that. So you have people grappling. You may not like the finance minister.
The current finance minister?
Yes.
Okay.
But I am fully in support of the model that he's implementing as far as sealing the loopholes in this country is concerned. There was too much avenue for corruption, too many loopholes. And then I believe that I want to be rich. I don't want to be poor. But by the time I get rich, it should be as a result of my suffering and my willing to sweat, not because I take some advantage of a political party, get into political office, take advantage of the place, and then Ghanaians are suffering. So we support what the finance minister is doing without any suspicion. If it is done in a clean heart, that he must tighten the belts and the corners so that money meant for this country can stay. You've heard Mahat Bishop speak about gold board.
Yes.
Look, so much money is what we are retaining. I'm not in the finance sector, but I do know that since we came into government, I think it is just recently that some 300 million loan was taken. But even so, the amount of money we have, which is used to stabilize this economy, helps the business people, helps the market women, helps those who do import, is stabilizing the country for us all not to feel the shocks of the mess that President Akufo-Addo and his government left. For me, shouldn't we clap hands? But don't forget that those who are in the business of smuggling gold, they will not be happy. Should we say that because they are not happy, we should destroy Sami Jemfi because of that? This is a very young man who have been put in a place. The MPP had the same place for 8 years. They were doing the gold for oil, right? It may have been an imperfect system. He's come within few years. He's transformed the place. Given its imperfection, a very wise opposition party should rather be interested in us, rearranging the place in a way that there will be transparency and accountability. But what are they doing? They want to destroy gold board so that the economy will crash.
But Honorable Afenyomarkin has said categorically, in fact, he stated that when the NPP comes to power, Sami Jemfi will be arrested and his bail will be so horrendous that he might not never get bail.
These threats should not intimidate any NDC appointee. Because, see, the only crime that our government have committed is that we haven't put Afenyomarkin in court. From what I know of him. And
what do you know of him?
I've stated before. And I don't blame him too much. Our colleagues who create comfort for him are the problem of this government.
No, Mustapha, now take it. Well, once you are here and you are saying what you know, you have to tell us what you know.
I'm just saying that.
Yes.
What I know of him.
What do you know of him?
So much.
Tell us a bit of it.
I'm saying that the last time I said that no opposition member, and I repeat, no opposition member enjoys more than Afenyomarkin under this government. And I blame our colleagues who create those leverages. You see? And such a person should not be out there accusing anybody.
This is an allegation.
Look, the rot at ECG alone. People who use individual, they use other companies. So one person owns a company, but the company is registered in another person's name, and they use that to. We have all of this. See, when President Akufo-Addo was in government, we investigated his government, so I know what I'm talking about.
Mustapha Gbande, I know you know what you're talking about, but you haven't said anything.
If Afenyomarkin force us, we will go into the reality. So his threats will not let anybody sacrifice Sami Jemfi. So far, in his imperfect nature as a young man, he's demonstrated an impeccable discharge of responsibility that the MPP couldn't do. Put the MPP and their cabinet together for 8 years, couldn't do.
Are you saying that if Honorable Afenyomarkin continues with the threat, you're going to make sure that he's arrested?
In any case, which wise opposition leader threatened others? Which wise opposition leader does that? I'm learning from his politics, but it is a learning of what not to do than what to do. Because really, if I become an opposition leader, the likes of Harun Edrisu and the likes of Honorable Atufosin, when they were minority leaders, they wouldn't do what Afenyomarkin is doing. A chief justice who have been taken through judicial process and removed, you are saying that he will be reinstated when you come back to power. And that should be a basis where Ghanaians should believe that the MPP is suddenly attractive to be brought back to power. I mean, he's joking. Okay? We are an imperfect government. We intend to make our society better. We intend to go through the heat, take responsibility of even the dissenting opinion to build a better Ghana. And that Ghanaians will hold us accountable one day. It is not who he calls for equity must come with clean hands. Afenyomarkin doesn't have political clean hands.
Are you saying he's corrupt?
I won't use that statement, but I'm saying that those who are within us, who create an environment of leverage for Afenyomarkin to live big and yet come on the streets, deceive his members as if he is not a happy man, are my problems.
So he's a happy man?
Afenyomarkin wish NDC is in power.
What have you
because
done for
he
him?
is enjoying more than even when he was in opposition.
What has the
I am
NDC done
saying
for him?
he will listen to this interview, and I'm the one talking to it. If he doesn't agree with what I'm saying, let him take it. Let him come and respond to me, and I'll come back here and we'll say it.
So you're saying he's fanfooling his people?
Oh, of course, everybody knows that. Even his own party knows that. His own party knows that he's fooling them. Apejomakin says that President Mahama's government is not a good government. It's funny. Please, they should give us a break. So threatening Sami Jemfi, and I do say that Sami Jemfi may not get everything perfect. This is an organization that has been built, but some of the comments that you hear is spun out of jealousy. And that is what is destroying our society. I have people who call me and say, why did you people put so much money in the hands of this young man, including some members of the NDC? And I asked that, were you standing there when his mother conceived him? You may be older than him, but this is his time. When you celebrate and help others succeed, your time will come. Why should anybody be jealous that because Sami Jemfi has a gold board was called PMMC? It was a conduit for gold smuggle. But he has come and he has transformed it to this state. Even if he made certain mistakes, we should take responsibility to correct those mistakes other than thinking that he is not a human being who deserves to be there. Which other human beings deserve to be there?
Right. How is the grassroots?
I think that the grassroots is all right, but most of them are not happy because what they saw, the lifestyle they saw in the MPP, some of them think that same should have been extended to our people. So if they need a job, no process, just find a way of putting them in. If they need money, find the money for them. Because the MPP lived under that lifestyle. So I've often asked my junior colleagues that if you learn from what the MPP was doing, that good gesture should not give them 38% in an election. It should give them 99%. But when they were doing that, even the beneficiaries of those bad gestures believe that it was a country should not be built on that trajectory. Number two, we are running a very lean government. Instead of ministers say 90, 100, we are running 60. Some of the ministers are complaining of clearance because we are doing prioritized expenditures. All right, it comes with its own suspicions and all of that, but prioritized expenditures. And so there are certain things that you may want to do, even to help party people, but you have to go to the finance minister to justify why you should do it and why we should use Ghanaians' money to do that. So all of us has our hands tied back. And the simple logic and policy is that we must sacrifice to rebuild our country so that the shocks will not be felt by all of us. And so the grassroots is not too happy because ministers themselves are not too happy. I'm sitting here, a very frustrated man.
Why are you frustrated?
Because it is their telephone numbers they know. The minister would have done campaign in his constituency. Not everybody has his number.
Mustapha, are you sure that that's the only complaint they are making? Because
They
it
are,
looks
they
like
are,
some of the complaints have to do with the fact that certain people who haven't sacrificed for the party are enjoying.
well, I've talked about that certain people who have gotten appointment, I've personally not seen them, but it is not for me to criticize how somebody got his appointment. Because the party has layers. What the leadership see is not what I see. What I see is not what a foot soldier will see. All that it takes is that if you were appointed by President Mahama, even if you are an NPP member, you should understand that certain people have worked for you to be where you are. And so therefore, prioritize and make some room to accommodate those imperfect people. Some of them come with problems. Some of them don't know how to even articulate their problems. It's our duty to correct them. Most people don't do that because of individual differences, because of what they've come from, lack of political experience. But over time, I think that people will learn to understand that it took some youths, it took some individuals They may not be educated to make this government happen. Following the president convoy cannot win an election.
So what are you going to do to appease these grassroots?
We are engaging them so that we can balance the act. If you check, we've been touring the country, myself and my brother, and the other executives.
Which of your brothers?
Joseph Yamin, national organizer.
Okay.
We've been touring and engaging the rank and file.
What about the general secretary? We haven't heard much from him recently.
He doesn't have to be there. There are high-level issues that they engage in, and we've been given the opportunity to do.
But he used to be very vocal.
Well, you can be vocal in opposition, but you can't be too vocal in government.
Oh, we've seen your party chairman still very vocal.
My general secretary is very vocal if he wants to be, but he's growing.
But your party chairman is grown.
I'm vocal.
He's growing as well.
But I'm vocal.
Exactly. So what's happening to the general secretary?
When we
Why
came,
is he quiet?
no, since we came into power, my general secretary doesn't do most of the talking. He allows me to do it so that if I make a mistake, he corrects it. In fact, that is how a general secretary should be. But
so how come it wasn't like that in the past?
How?
I mean, when you were looking for power, he was very vocal.
No, he wasn't very vocal. I was the one talking.
He was.
But he once a while.
We are all in Ghana. We are all Ghanaians. He was.
If you know him very well, he's sometimes very reserved, and he speaks when he has to speak. But I am the one who does a lot of the dirty work.
So is he going to get up and give you the seat as a general secretary since you are the one doing the talking?
I've stated that I don't want the seat. Barbara is my senior. The lady, the deputy general secretary in charge of administration. I have come to meet him, and I will not profess to have experience than she is. So if there's a room for some way, if the general secretary decides he will not go, the most senior, I'm not in a hurry at all. Me, I like to be where I am because I enjoy the troubles I'm causing and all of that. I enjoy it so much. So it's not about general secretary leaving his seat and who wants to be general secretary. I've stated this before. I don't want to be that. I am more of an operations person than a general secretary.
Is the party doing well?
Our party, I think, so far, we are very strong in power because what we do, MPP executives couldn't do it when they were in government. They couldn't criticize their own government. We do. If the government is wrong, we'll say it. We say it. And that is how a party in government should be because we made the government. There can't be a government without a party. And so we should be able to speak to correct those in government. They are our colleagues. You cannot, if you can't stand up to a man with power, then you can't be a man of integrity. And so we are able to do that. And we are complementing government in a way that is expected to ensure that our policies, our job objectives, the promises we delivered gradually and carefully are being executed. Look, when you go to my village, one day I was traveling and I saw this factory built in my village. There's a village called Adokwanta. And Nanadu went there. He left Accra with a long convoy. In the morning when I was going, I saw machines and I was so happy that, oh, Nanadu have done well. I think in our constituency, this is the first time a factory is being built by a government. You know, we are a farming community. 3 days after when I was returning to Accra, all the machines were being conveyed back to Accra. Go and see the place is lying there without a single machine. Which government was that? The NDC government cannot do that. We will rise up against it. We can't allow scamming and criminality in our own government. We cannot form ourselves into a cabal of thieves against the people of Ghana. And so the party is doing everything it can to help reshape the conversation, to help complement our colleagues who are managing various sectors for them to succeed. Where we see a wrong, we are able to speak out. The MPP executives, most of them were doing galamsey, and most of them were busy looking for money. It is being alleged that most of them, but I know most of them were also doing it. Recently, they went for a meeting. You know for a fact. They went for a meeting and they said that because I'm disturbing them, they are going to say that me, Mustapha, was doing mining, galamsey, in Akwatia. No, I was a consultant for anti-illegal mining.
Okay, so you are not doing galamsey.
They are ignorant. They don't even understand.
Mustapha Gbande, you are not doing galamsey?
Let me tell you. If there is any minister that I'm close to in this government, it's Honorable Kofi Boa.
I have asked a question. You
He
haven't
can give
answered.
me a concession that I want, but I don't like it.
Mustapha Gbande, I asked a question.
If
Are
if
you doing
if
galamsey?
anybody
Yes
can
or
prove,
no?
if anybody
You haven't answered. Nobody has to prove it. You are sitting here.
between
Just
me
say it.
between
Do you
me
do galamsey?
between me and my God, God knows that I do not treasure gold.
Gala-
Two, I don't do mining. I have friends who are in mining. If you are a party person and you are chasing a concession, and I have to call somebody for you to get, I will do it.
Mustapha Gbande, do you
I
do
don't.
galamsey?
Not
Yes
at
or
all.
no?
Not at all.
Good.
The day I want to go into mining, everybody will know. I will never do it because that's not my area. I like to do things that I can do to perfection.
So getting into your area, we want to know what exactly your current role requires from you that people don't see.
I'm not going to talk about it because my rule, when the president put my rule out, if they wanted to tell you what I do, they would have put it out. But I think that so far I've been doing my best. I'm helping my
Who
bosses.
has a role and we don't know?
Who has what role?
Who has a role and we don't know?
Me.
You.
Yes.
What do you do?
But you know
Do you
what?
kill people?
How can you imagine that?
I didn't imagine. I asked
I'm
the
a
question.
Christian. I'm a Christian, a baptized Christian who believes in the Holy Ghost, covered by the blood of Jesus. How do I kill somebody? How do you possibly do that?
You kidnap people?
Does President Mahama look like somebody who have an iota of such power?
So what is your role?
I'm a director, deputy director of operations. Operations, there are different levels of operations.
So go into it with us.
Operations, you know, it depends upon what definition you give to operations. And you have, in terms of national security, there's operations. In terms of even ministries, there are operations. In terms of presidency, there are operations. So the definition you give to it is what you do. But I don't. The MPP era operations was you were involved in a lot of things that I wouldn't do because my principles won't allow me to do.
What are they?
Rose, I am somebody. I'll prefer poverty over riches that are not just. Riches that I think that are exploitative. I don't take advantage of people. I have my safeguards. I know what to do and when to do it. Nobody can convince me to do what my rights, my principles, my values do not allow me to do. And by the grace of God, I've gotten bosses who understand that. You know, if you are going to steal money, don't call me because if I hear it, I will expose you. But if you are going to work, call me. I'll do it without even thinking about what benefit comes therein. Because you see, the Bible teaches us that diligence is a reward. When you serve diligently, it doesn't take your master to bless you, take God to bless you. It's the same as when you give. You can give a little, but if God is giving you the little you have given out, the value of what God is giving you is in millions of what you give out.
Okay.
So I don't do that.
So what is the biggest problem inside the NDC that people don't know? You should tell us about
Are we supposed not to have problems?
it.
Even
What's your biggest
marriage
problem?
people,
Yeah.
they fight every day.
Mm.
Some get to police station, some they separate. This is an organization where we all have different levels of upbringing. We have different exposure levels, different level of education, and we have come together to champion a common idea. We don't have to be friends to work together. We don't have to all agree at the same time. And so any political party that unanimously have an agreement on everything is a syndicate that can perpetrate evil. The disagreement is just that some people don't work with others. And I think that there's no problem beyond what the NDC should be. We have had our disagreements from time immemorial, but we know the points of convergence. We know when to say, hey, let's stop. The biggest question or the biggest issue is the collective. And so in NDC, our divisions does not undermine the collective. Everybody can misbehave, but when there's a call for people to converge, we all put the differences aside and we move on. So We don't. So you see that these people are, when it's time for their presidential race, it's about who is rich, it's about who is this, and they have made money, and 12 people are contesting, and 8 people are contesting. It doesn't happen in the NDC because we don't practice free for all democracy.
Okay. So do you think the party is too comfortable at this point in retaining power?
I think that we are ready to explain our situation to the people of Ghana. We are ready. We've been working in the last 1 year, 8 months. It's time that we account to the people of Ghana. We brief the people of Ghana. DCs have worked so well. The funding that have gone to local government have not been experienced by the local government sectors in the last 12 years. The finance minister and government, the president, have made sure that enough funding goes to these assemblies for all sorts of developmental activities. It's time for the district chief executives, it's time for the MPs to go back and account to the people. Explain to every single Ghanaian what we have been in government for in the last 8 years. You know, success is not always about building roads and building schools. These are good projects, but stability is also important. President Mahama's regime have given every Ghanaian some relative peace, some free air to breathe. Under President Akufo-Addo, hey, they will collapse your business. National security people are misbehaving here. They are using military people as drivers. Tomorrow this, tomorrow that. They are collapsing bank here. Even the MPP contractors in this country are getting contracts. That means that the president is a man of wisdom and is a man who represents nationalism. So we need to account this to the people of Ghana. We need to tell our story to the people of Ghana. We are going to do that. And I believe that as long as we've been transparent, as long as there's nothing to hide, President Mahama did not come into government to say, Bole people must be rich and all other Ghanaians must be poor. We will stand in the faces of our people and explain to them what we've been doing. And 2028, it will not be because the MPP have failed and they will fail. It will be because we have worked and we organize ourselves for that election.
Do you think President Mahama should go for another term?
Well, issue of this third term, we've spoken about it plenty. I have seen people talk about term limit. I'm against it. The constitutional review that they are doing, I think I've read the report and it's more academic than practical as far as politics is concerned. Most of the things they have said is not practical. But if you, for example, if you ask that a DC should be elected, how are you going to elect a DC? We should rather make sure that people who will be appointed as DC has the intellectual capability, the experience to manage local governance, ensure that enforcement is very high. If you put a person who doesn't know what it's about, how is he going to manage the place? Now, the issue of whether to go or not to go, which most people call it third term, is intellectual than political. The argument is that if a president goes once, he's supposed to go another one. What happens if he goes once and exits and comes back? It's a question of law. And we have all agreed in our constitution that when we have this lacuna, we should go back to the courts, the lords, to interpret what it means. Some Ghanaians are in court. How come some people are on the street talking about third term? It's, for me, intellectual illiteracy. And I have said that if there's a window of the issues, the Supreme Court coming out to say that the meaning of that allows President Mahama to go, I'll be the first person to go lie by his door, prostrate, begging him to contest again, because I believe it will give this country some relative stability. That is my opinion. Unless that window is not there, then we'll search for a new candidate who will lead the NDC. But if you ask me today, if there is a window, any day, any time, I am one person who will plead with Ghanaians and give reasons that for what we are doing now, the foundation we are building now, the nature of leadership required by this country at a point in time like this where he's trying to stabilize the environment, you are dealing with foot soldiers who believe that certain things must be done. You are trying to balance the temperature of the country, even though you have a very unwise opposition. You are trying to hold everybody together. This is the leadership that we need, a constructionist leadership. And if President Mahama is doing that, why not? If there's a window, we should support him. But if the window is not there, I would then say that I would support another candidate who consultatively the Council of Elders would choose. Any group of people that practice free for all democracy stand for destruction.
Okay.
Democracy must be restricted. Democracy must be controlled relative to the aspiration of the people. So when people make so much money, then they democratize themselves. Then they want to come and destroy. But if you are doing a purposeful democracy, it is not free for all. And that's my opinion.
That's your
Other
opinion.
people may have different school of
Opinions.
thought. Yes.
Okay. Now, talking about that, there's been, people saying all sort of things, saying the next person to take over the seat, that's the flag bearership of the NDC, could be your party chairman. That is Sir Johnson Asiedu Ketia. Do you think he'll be a good fit?
Even if it falls on me, I will go. If the Council of Elders say it is me, I will go. The chairman has served this country, served this party faithfully. And you see, a society that does not honor its people is not a society that is worth sacrificing for. And that for me, anyone that deserves honor in this party, we should honor that person. Whoever it falls on, some of us as officers have run away from this conversation of who leads the party. All we have said is that we want to reorganize our junior colleagues, the parliamentarians, the DCs, and the grassroots to build a resilient party. Whoever the Council of Elders comes to say should lead us, we will make that person president because that is that person's calling. That is his time. I do not know
So it's
who.
not voting, it's Council of Elders.
No, I do not. No, I'm against voting in the next election.
Really?
Choosing of presidency, I'll tell you, if the NDC jokes and allows us to open for freeway election like the MPP does, by the time we come back, our party will collapse. Take it from me.
Wow.
I'm talking out of what I know, and I'm cautioning and pleading with our people that certain times it is not about right, it's about wisdom. And that everybody's time will come. Look, my time will come, Rose. So,
do you wish to be a president one day?
I do not know. If I become a president, it will be a very difficult thing. Because a lot of the things that I see, I won't allow it. It will be like every minister will go for 6-month military training. Every DC will be trained. You see, when you have security training, your brain functionality is very high. And it tames and filters you from very lazy attitude and lazy thinking. And that is one of the things affecting us as a country. And so if I become president, you don't have a room to place yourself first. You can't. So I don't aspire to be a president. I'm saying that NDC must be an organization whose story is that we honor the ones that deserve to be honored.
Okay.
And so when it is your term, it should be your term. Look, Professor Jenana Opokwajima, before 2012, he was an IEA moderator. He said it on air that I am not a member of the NDC. Fast forward, as destiny has it, she became a minister of education, performed very well. She became a first female vice president. That is honoring her. President Mahama, if you know how he became a vice president at the time, he didn't even think that he was going to be keen in politics.
Yeah.
But as destiny fell on him, the party honored him. If it falls on my national chairman and any other person, if he's interested, why not? But I don't think we are there. I have said that if President Mahama does not succeed, we have all failed. If President Mahama succeeds, then our work becomes easier. Anybody who believes that you put yourself first in this government, you are an individual whose activity is undermining what will keep us in power for a long time. And that for now, look, if God has called you to be president, you will become a president. And I think that being a president of Ghana goes beyond political experience and goes beyond riches.
All right, Mustapha Gbande, talking about that, I think we'll have to wrap up our conversation. But
Yeah.
before we wrap up our conversation, just a little bit on religion, because you're a very religious person. You said you've been a traditionalist before?
I've done everything before. So when I hear people taking me to Juju, I laugh at them.
Okay, so because you used to go to the juju.
I did all of that.
Okay,
Yes. I've been a Muslim too. I know how things are done there.
okay.
But I have decided that I'm now a born again Christian.
What made you stop the traditional stuff?
It's a lot of things.
Okay.
That's how me to my destiny have traveled.
Mm.
But I have a Muslim name. All my kids have Muslim names. So the recent nonsense from some of our people was very appalling to me. Where you are a pastor and you choose to make nonsensical comments on radio. Look, religion, land, tribe, ethnicity are the most fastest indicators of war that cannot be controlled. Politics is not part. And so anybody that misbehaves within these three parameters must quickly be reined in by the country. That if you are a Muslim clergy and you go and sit on radio and make comments that does not resonate with Islam, you should be arrested. If you are a pastor and your pastoral doctrine tells you to go and be insulting other people's religion, you should be arrested. I saw my brother in Tim Fojo quickly running to the police to go and bail. I mean, these should be things that we should run from. Tim Fojo is not Christian than all of us. He's not Christian than President Mahama. He's not Christian than the IGP. He's not Christian than anybody else. But what is condemnable is condemnable. And that for me, it is not about a clergy, a Muslim who is wrong. It's not about a Christian who is wrong. The benchmarks are that don't go and attack another person's religion. I would not. I have never condemned Islam. Anytime it's time for Hajj, we help our people to go. Anytime it's fasting, we help our brothers to go. Anytime it's time for Christian prayers, we also do that. And so I think that we should, our coexistence, and it also goes to this thing of trying to control what people say. Those who said, oh, everybody should say what they want, are the ones who should be held responsible for some of these things, because it took one person to go on radio to make a certain comment. If that person was arrested by the police, who said that, hey, a Christian has spoken and you have arrested him, or a Muslim has spoken and you have arrested him. But today, look at what they nearly created. And so the awareness is that we should have breaks. People should have limits to what they say and what they do. We have lived very harmoniously, but as for me, I have seen all the three, but I've come to a point where I believe in Christ. I believe that He died for me. I'm covered by the blood. I'm anointed by the Holy Spirit, and I do my work. That is all.
Fantastic. Mustapha Gbande, has been a great conversation with you, and you've kept it raw as it has to be. Today, we came looking for the line between speaking truth and speaking harshly. Can we disagree without destroying one another? Politics will always involve competition. Democracy will always involve disagreement. But the character of a nation is also revealed in how we disagree. Mustapha, thank you once again for allowing us to challenge you, question you, and hopefully understand you a little better. And to everyone watching, don't just listen to what our politicians say. Listen to how they say it, because sometimes the words we choose tell us as much about our politics as the policies we defend. I'm Roslyn Felly. This is Raw with Roslyn. Stay curious. We're back once again. Have a lovely day. Bye.